These are exact quotes. Can't give the whistleblower's name, but this is a statement I have in writing. It is a statement, therefore, on background, but without the name, but very, very specific details. The whistleblower says to me, there are credible allegations that the inspections that take place of any aviation company by the regulator, the DGCA, were quote unquote influenced through payments to certain DGCA personnel. I'm going to read this again slowly because it's that serious. A whistleblower from inside VSR Ventures saying to me, there are credible allegations and a belief within the company that inspections by the DGCA were influenced by payments to certain DGCA personnel. The whistleblower then goes on to say that that is why the organization does not take mistakes very seriously. Remember, there has been an earlier crash involving an aircraft, the same model from the same company in 2023. The AAIB has not yet completed its final report on that crash, but the whistleblower saying the organization uses financial influence rather than corrective actions. And in fact, the whistleblower told me he doesn't even believe any change will come now because the organization is that confident that financial influence with certain personnel of the DGCA have helped it get away. Persistent non-compliances. There's an entire culture of safety norms that are violated. Our whistleblower inside this company tells us that the company gets away. These non-compliances remain unreported because DGCA personnel have been influenced. I would not put out such a grave allegation if I did not have it very, very specifically in writing from a whistleblower inside this particular company. Now, what are some of these norms? Well, the whistleblower is reminding us that the safety norms have been violated to such a degree that what has happened in Baramati cannot be called an unforeseen accident. It is, in fact, a result of a deliberate disregard for aviation safety. Let's come to some of the ways in which VSR Ventures, according to the whistleblower who has been talking to me since yesterday, has violated these norms. The first shocking thing that I was alarmed to hear is that the whistleblower tells me that it is not uncommon for aircraft leased from this particular company to have the cockpit voice recorders turned off. The CVRs are often found in off mode. This is what the whistleblower said to me. Remember, this is so important because the CVR is critical evidence as to what causes a crash. Of course, the whistleblower goes on to say that this is completely in violation of all safety rules. And then the whistleblower adds that even the basic, rudimentary, mandatory safety norm of a checklist, there is no checklist usage in aircraft that are flown by VSR Ventures. Now we come to the very critical point, and as all of you will be very interested in this, we've all been talking about it. When the Indigo crisis happened, it concerned it concerned the issue of pilots and fatigue. Right? What is the rest time? It's called FDTL regulations, and we saw the whole chaos with Indigo. Now, the whistleblower inside this particular charter says that FDTL regulations were routinely violated. And here's how they were violated. There was actually, according to him, a manipulation of the documents. So let me give you an example. If we can move on to the next slide. Basically, if a pilot has flown 12 hours in one day, the documents would show that the pilot has actually flown those 12 hours over 2 days. And the whistleblower is saying that this was a very commonplace manipulation of documents. The whistleblower is also reminding us, even as there are whispers that grow about possible pilot fault in this crash too, he is saying that significant pilot fatigue directly compromises flight safety. So this is a very grave allegation. We've had allegations of the CVR being turned off. We've had allegations of FDTL details, the number of flying hours of a pilot being falsified on paper. We've had, above all, a grave allegation of financial payments to DGCA personnel. And last but not the least, this whistleblower tells us that, believe it or not, there is no SOP, no standard operating procedure. Every aviation company either has its own SOP or it has the SOP of the manufacturer. So, for example, Boeing and Airbus will have their own SOP for particular planes. This gentleman says to me that there is no such SOP for pilots or for first officers. In fact, he goes on to describe the absence of a safety culture. It says, like I said, that neither the company nor the manufacturer's SOPs are followed, which means that basically every pilot has his own set of norms, and the first officers have to catch up. He also talks a little bit, the whistleblower, about the absence of a safety culture says that all of them are trained by a trainer called CEA. They are based out of London, if I'm not wrong, and that the CEA had issued repeated warnings to this company, better get your act together, otherwise there will be a serious accident. And that is exactly what has happened. Finally, something about the owners who have already been accused of financially influencing personnel inside the aviation regulator. We are being told by our whistleblower that the company is basically a one-man shop. It's a father and son shop. There's no functional safety management system or what's called SMS.